Hey everyone, welcome to another part 3 of my in-depth review of the new Khorne Daemonkin Codex released today. It's been fun so far. As always, my name is Jay, and in this video I will be going over the elites and probably the troop slots, because there's not that many elites to go through. Basically, to sum it up, once again, all of the Chaos Space Marines upped in cost, all of the demons stayed in cost, very little got changed. Yeah, very little, other than the new rules. Obviously, the new rules, the new formations, which I will be going over in this one, which ones pertain to these ones. And, yeah, so the new formations, and obviously Blood for the Blood God with the Blood Tithe points are going to be really powerful in this codex. Yeah. So we'll start off with the Possessed. Now, the Possessed are fun. They're not very used very often, but they're kind of cool. They each have different rules. And upped in cost, once again, they've gone from 26 points each to 30 points each. So 4 points up in cost. But they can have fun. As I said, they might be useful in the new decks because of the Blood Tithe points. And they also have formation. But, so you get, for 150 points, you get 4 Possessed and a Possessed Champion. Their Warriors' Power Armor, Close Combat Weapons. They still have Weapon Skill Skill 4, Strength 5, Toughness 4, 1 Wound, Initiative 4, 2 attacks, Leadership 9, 3 up save for both of them. Special rules: Blood for the Blood God, of course, Demon of Khorne, Fearless, Fleet, Mark of Khorne, Skull for the Skull Throne for the Possessed Champion. Vessels of Chaos: at the beginning of each fight sub-phase, roll a d3 on the table below for each friendly unit of Possessed that is locked in combat. Mutation affects each possessed model in the unit and lasts for the rest of the game turn. So a D3. So 1 is Strength. The Possessed reroll all fail to wound rolls. 2, Vorpal Claws. The Possessed melee weapons are AP 3. Pretty nice. And 3, Supernatural Speed. The Possessed gain +1 attack and +1 initiative. So that's pretty nasty. If they're in close combat with pretty much anything other than the Terminators, they're going to do pretty well. And of course, you can add up to 15 additional Possessed for 30 points a model. So you can have a squad of 20. Now, it's a huge cost. It'd be like 600 points. But it'd be kind of fun to have 600 points of Possessed running around the battlefield. You give them an Icon of Wrath for 20 points, and they can take a Rhino as a dedicated transport. Cool stuff there. Up next, we have the Chaos Terminators. Chaos Terminators also went up, of course, in cost because they're chaosy. They used to be 31 points each, and now they're 34 points each. So, and they have the same stat as before: Weapon Skill 4, Strength, Toughness 4, 1 Wound, Initiative 4, 2 attacks, Leadership 9, 2 up save. And for 104 points, you get 2 Chaos Terminators and Terminator Champion, War Gear, Terminator Armor, Commie Bolter, Power Weapon. I wonder if these Terminators have invols then. Let me look it up quickly. Does their Terminator Armor always give invulnerable saves? Maybe it did. They don't have Slow and Purposeful, I know that. So let's look at the appendix quickly and see. So they're basically standard Chaos Terminators. Let's see if I can... I think it's just standard Terminator Armor. Yep. 2 up armor save, 5 up invulnerable save. Furthermore, Terminators have bulky, deep strike, and relentless special. Cool. So good stuff there. Let me go back to Chaos Terminators. Perfect. And of course, their special weapons: Blood for the Blood God, Mark of Khorne, and Skull for the Skull Throne. And just to recuperate Skull for the Skull Throne means they basically have to issue or accept challenges. This is for the Terminator Champion only. You can include up to 7 additional Chaos Terminators for 34 points each. And their upgrades are pretty much standard costs. So cool stuff there. Once again, there will be a formation I'll be going over after. The formations, as I said, the formations and the special rules is where this codex really excels. Other than that, it's a bit more expensive of a Chaos edition of a Chaos codex. So we'll see. But I really do like the fact that Chaos Demons and the Space Marines are in one, for the Khorne, but it's pretty cool. Also for the elites, Blood Crushers. Blood Crushers being, as I said, the demons. Didn't change the cost at all. Same stat line as before. Women's Global is skill 5, Strength, Toughness 5. Sorry, Strength 5, Toughness 4. 3 wounds, initiative 4. 3 attacks for the Blood Crusher, 4 for the Blood Hunter. 7 leadership, 6 up save. Of course, they have their demons save, 5 up invulnerable. And their warrior's Hellblade, special rules, Blood for the Blood God, Demon of Khorne, Deep Strike. Fearless, and Skull for the Skull Throne for the Blood Hunter only. You take up to 6 additional Blood Crushers for 45 points each. You may upgrade 1 Blood Crusher to a Blood Hunter for 5 points. I recommend it. 1 Blood Crusher may take any instrument of chaos. A different Blood Crusher may take a banner of blood. Cool. So awesome stuff there. So that's about that. So let's go over the formations that involve... I think there was a formation that involved the elites. Now, obviously, there is the units of Possessed are involved. You have to have Possessed in the main... in the Slaughter Cult, which is the main formation of this codex. If you want to take the detachment, you have to have Possessed. So that's the rule. So you're going to have to buy Possessed if you don't want Possessed. And then there's also one called Brazen Onslaught, which has many of the other elite slots in it. You need, for this formation, you need 1 to 4 units of Chaos Terminators and 2 to 4 units of Blood Crushers. So there you go there. So if you want to take the elites, the Brazen Onslaught is the formation for that. And there are bonuses for this formation. Khorne's Chosen Slaughterers is the rule. At the start of each fight sub-phase, check to see if any units from this formation are involved in a combat that contains more enemy models, which will happen when you're playing with Terminators or Blood Crushers. Typically, they're going to assault something that has more models than it, right? Involved in a combat that contains more enemy models than friendly models. Count all models locked in combat, not just those models that are engaged. If a unit from this formation is outnumbered, all models in this unit add 1 to their attacks characteristic until the end of the phase. So that's sweet. So it's just extra bonus attacks. So if your Terminators assault a squad of Orcs, of course, you know the Terminators are going to be outnumbered by the Orcs. So being outnumbered, they get extra attack each. Doesn't hurt. You know, it's pretty cool. I know they're a little bit more expensive Terminators now. They're up 3 points. But for that rule alone, you know, an extra attack, they're going to be pretty much outnumbered most of the time. So an extra attack for the Blood Crushers or for the Terminators is pretty sweet. That's a pretty awesome special rule. Yeah. You know, that's pretty cool. So we're only 7 minutes in, and I'm going to take Spock up because he's chewing on the other camera. Don't do that. And let's go over the troops now because we're like 7.5 minutes in. This is not the time to end a video. So let's go over the troops. So we'll start off with the Bloodletters, I think. Oops. Give me 1 second here. We should start with Bloodletters, I'm guessing, but I think Bloodletters are the first ones. Nope, Chaos Cultists. Chaos Cultists we'll start off with. Chaos Cultists got much more expensive, and I don't necessarily agree with this. Now, as I said, Chaos Cultists are going to be pretty powerful when you can give them Feel No Pain by expending just like 3 Blood Tithe tokens. That's pretty insane. Plus, Chaos Cultists are going to be fun in the sense that they now have, in the main formation, you can sacrifice them. If you fail a morale check, you can just choose them to die. Now, why would you do that? Because they give a Blood Tithe token when they die, a Blood Tithe point. So when they die, if they die during your opponent's turn, you have that extra token in which you can use then your following turn to buff your guys. And maybe bring in a Demon Prince or a Bloodthirster. It's pretty nasty what you can do. So they got way more expensive. So now a squad of 8, because as I mentioned, many of the troops are now in squads of 8. Obviously Khorne, squads of 8. An 8-person squad is 58 points, where you used to be able to get like 11 or 12 guys in for 58 points. They're now 6 points a model. 50% upgrade. Now I don't know. Now debate with me if you disagree with me on this. I don't think they're worth 6 points though. I think they'd be better suited, if you wanted to increase them maybe to 5, they used to be 4. So a point increase is enough, right? But because it's a 25% increase. This is a 50% increase, and they didn't get 50% better. Other than the fact that you can sacrifice them, and you can give them Feel No Pain very easily. But, so for 58 points, you get a squad of 7 cultists and a cultist champion. They have improvised armor, which is a 6+ save. and an auto pistol, close combat weapon. Special rules, Blood for the Blood God, obviously, so blood type points. Mark of Khorne, which gives them, let me just double check. So the Mark of Khorne, I'm pretty sure everyone has the Mark of Khorne now. Now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure everyone has the Mark of Khorne. But the Mark of Khorne gives them, oops, let me see here. The Mark of Khorne gives them Rage, and pretty sure it just gives them Rage. Let me see here. Data sheet. Mark of Khorne gives Rage and Counterattack. So that is pretty sweet. They do have Rage and they have Counterattack. So if they assault anything, or if anything assaults them, they're going to get a lot of attacks. But still, 6 points per model. Their weapon skill, ballistic skill 3, strength, toughness 3, 1 wound, initiative 3, 1 attack each. Leadership 7, leadership 8 for the cultist champion, who also gets an additional attack. 6 up save. I don't know. I'm going to have to think about this one. 6 points. Now, you can give them Feel No Pain, and they have Rage. So if they jump into a squad of, you take up to a squad of 35, as you did before. Squad of 35 jump in, each of them getting an extra attack besides the normal attack, as Rage, and they get a counterattack, so even if you assault them, that's pretty nasty. But they're going to die really easily. They're hitting everything on 4s, wounding everything probably on 5s. And so, I don't know. You can give a Flamer or Heavy Stummer for 5 points. The Cultist Champion can take a Shotgun for 2 points. So, I don't know. I think there's going to be some shenanigans with them. I think there will be, especially you bring a bunch of small squads of them, and then sacrifice them whenever you want to get the points to bring in a Bloodthirster. That might be the way to bring cultists. Just sacrifice them and bring in that Bloodthirster ASAP, or the Demon Prince ASAP, and then just have your opponent have fun with a bunch. That would be fun too. I was thinking about that. Now their leadership is really low. No, it's not. It's 8. But the cultist champion could be the one in which you sacrifice. Like, you sacrifice one squad and then bring in a Bloodthirster with the other. No, I think it has to be an HQ. Oh. Would be cool, though. Summons and Demons. So next, we have some Chaos Space Marines. They're standard Chaos Space Marines. Nothing's really changed with them other than they went up in cost because they're Chaos Space Marines. And as I said, all the Chaos Space Marines went up in cost. They went up in cost by a bit, actually. It was 2 points per model. They went from 13 points each to 15 points each. Once again, you can give them Feel No Pain like no one's business. So that's pretty good. As I said, I think the points for these guys are justified. A lot of the increases in points are justified because of the Blood Tithe points and how you can give them Feel No Pain or Adamantium Will or bring in demons for free, and it makes your army insane. I figured out some ways. I'm thinking of ways that you just keep sacrificing cultists and then bring in demons galore. So you're sacrificing your cheap units to bring in demons, which is pretty fun. So they are standard Marines, 4s all around, 1 wound, 1 attack, leadership 8. The aspiring champion is leadership 9, 3 up saves, and of course there's squads of 8 now because they are Khorne. So for a squad of 8, it costs 130 points. You get 7 Space Marines and 1 aspiring champion. War gear, power armor, bolt gun, bolt pistol, close combat weapon, crack grenades for egg grenades. Special rules, Blood for the Blood Guy, Mark of Khorne, Skulls, and the Skull Throne. So that's pretty good. So once again, everyone's improved, right? They're guys you're running around with Rage and Counterattack, and you give them Feel No Pain. Pretty easily, in fact. All they have to do is kill something, you gotta kill 2 things and lose something per turn. And you just keep dumping Feel No Pain on your guys. Or, there's also the bonus that if you bring the main formation, you spend if you spend 4, you can just get the Feel No Pain for free. And both apply. So, that's pretty sweet. Sorry, my dog is trying to chew on my cameras. So, I think they're pretty strong. You know what? As far as Chaos Space Marines go, I think the 2 points could be justified in this case because of the really easy ways to buff them. And, of course, let's see. You can take up to 15, I believe, extra? Yeah, up to 12, sorry. 12 extras. Up to squad of 20 for 15 points each. They need a close combat weapon for 2 points each. Any model instead replace a bolt gun with a close combat weapon for free. One chaos space marine may choose one of the following options. Replaces bolt gun with a plasma pistol for 15 points. Definitely recommend that. Take one of the special weapons list. Yeah, and a bunch of things like you can take Melta Bombs, the Aspiring Champion for 5 points, Icon of Wrath for 20, and you may take a Chaos Rhino as a dedicated transport, which is basically not changed either. And finally, for troops, we have Berserkers. Khorne Berserkers. Now they're just called Berserkers, but they're Khorne Berserkers. We all know they're Khorne Berserkers, but they're called Berserkers. And Khorne Berserkers are... They got more expensive? I don't think they changed it at all. No, they didn't change it at all. They're still 19 points each. So 162 points gets you a squad of 8 Khorne Berserkers, 7 Berserkers and a Berserker Champion in power armor, bolt pistol, close combat weapons, fire grenades, crack grenades. They're weapon skill 5, ballistic skill 4, with their little pistols, strength toughness 4, 1 wound, initiative 4, 1 attack, normal, Berserker Champion gets 2, leadership 8 normal, Berserker Champion gets 9. Special rules: Blood for the Blood God, Fearless, Furious Charge, Mark of Khorne, Skulls for the Skull Throne. So they're Furious Charge, so +1 strength on the assault. They have +2 attacks on the assault, so they're going to be nasty. They're going to run through... These guys are probably going to be mowing down stuff. Like, if they get into combat, they're going to be mowing stuff down. You know, they may have up to 12 additional Berserkers for 19 points each. They can take a Chain Axe for 3 points. 2 Berserkers may replace their bolt pistol with a plasma pistol. Probably worth it. For 15 points each. Maybe not. Berserker Champion may take Melta Bombs for 5. I think that'd be worth it for throwing at a vehicle. The model in this unit may take an Icon of Wrath, 15 points. The unit may also take Rhino's dedicated transport. Let's look at the Icon of Wrath, just to double check what this Icon of Wrath is, because I'm curious. I keep seeing it. And it's good to talk about things when you see them, because Icon of Wrath. It's an Ichor Cannon. Iron Claw. Oh, here we go. Icon of Wrath. When determining assault results, to add 1 to your total if there are 1 or more friendly units with Icon of Wrath. Alright. In addition, all models with the Mark of Khorne in a unit equipped with the Icon of Wrath have the Furious Charge special rule. They already do. So, furthermore, when determining its charge range, a unit with this icon may reroll the result. That's good. You want to reroll your result, because it gives you basically fleet. That's good. So you reroll your results, so it might be worth it. If you're having all close combat units, an Icon of Wrath might be worth it for you, because it gives you fleet, so that way you can get into close combat and eat your opponent for a breakfast. And that's it. Those are the troops. So we've done a lot of the work so far. We've already gone through HQs, troops, and elites in this video. Let's go check out the data sheet once again. The formations for the... I don't think there are any specifically for the troops, because the troops are in the core formation. Yeah, they're in the core formation. So once again, the core formation allows you to get an additional blood tithe point per turn, and you can sacrifice your cultists if you want for an extra point. Pretty sweet stuff. Not an extra point, you just get a point for them, but still, pretty sweet stuff. So that's it. So what do you think of the troops and the elite slots of the new Khorne Daemonkin Codex released today? Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? What do you think? And yeah, we'll have a conversation about it. Everything's good. Please like the video, comment in the comment section down below. Subscribe to my channel if you already haven't done so. It really does help a lot. Stay tuned for the next video where we'll be going over the fast attack choices. And until next time, this is Jay saying, happy painting. Maybe sure paint your 8s. Painting 8s. Happy painting.